Hakuo listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on X or Twitter at Let's Learn Sumo, also on YouTube at Let's Learn Sumo. A bit more video content to come after this basho. Trying to put together a couple of episodes of things I found in Japan. Don't forget to also join me on YouTube as well. And certainly Sunday Morning Sumo on YouTube does do a restream of some of the Abema feed. You just need to come and look. Occasionally I will join them and do a bit of commentary here and there. So we are into the race now, day 12. It's a two-horse race or two-rickshaw race. Takanosho, he unfortunately took a loss to Kirishima tonight, doing his best, Kirishima, to chase Kachikoshi. Two remaining Ozekis, Korozakura and Hoshoryu, they are setting themselves up for a grandstand finish to decide the yusho now after wins both on day 11 and 12. I think from my calculations they just need to win tomorrow and all of the other rikishi are out of the game. It's clear the quality wrestlers are rising to the top, and this is why they are Ozeki. They handle that pressure, well, mostly. So let's have a look at how day 11 and 12 played out. Day 11 saw some interesting action. Hoshoryu, he continued his run against Daisho, the threshing machine, who is at Sekiwake. Daisho tried hard to get his Sapari thrusting going. He tried to keep Hoshoryu off his belt. Hoshoryu had a few attempts at grabbing and got in at one point, which led to Daisho trying to get him off by moving left and right. Hoshoryu, he eventually made it work, and Oshidashi Daisho out. That got him 10 wins. Good work by the Ozeki. A difficult match for him. Onosato, he is fairly out of it after losing his fourth match. This one went to a surging Takanosho. Henka, followed by some nasty notawas by Takanosho, forced Onosato onto the defensive, but his plan to pull Takanosho did not work at all. He ran out of room. We're starting to see a pattern of plan A not working and no real plan B. To me, this is a bit of a weakness for someone aspiring to stay at Ozeki and let alone make it to Yokozuna. It's fairly clear evidence he's not ready for Yokozuna yet. The loss to Daisho on day 11 is perhaps one of those losses that probably clearly demonstrates his weaknesses on top of his fairly immature loss to Takanosho the night before. Just not quite there in tactics and being able to adapt to that match. Undoubtedly a quality wrestler, needs a bit more time. Korozakura Ozeki made short work of Wakamoto Haru on day 11 as he retreated to the bales for his normal defensive reset position off the tachiai. Wakamoto Haru misjudged, his foot slid off the back of the Tawara bales and out. A win to Korozakura by Oshidashi push out. Kirishima, he took that much-needed win over Tobizaru to improve to 5 and 6. Kirishima, he had a plan and he took hold of one of Tobizaru's upper arms to get control of the Lord of Chaos flying monkeys and to restrict his movement. Tobizaru, he got himself free, but Kirishima, he chased him out. Oshidashi was the result. Atami Fuji, he easily dealt with Shodai in a drive to the bales and a step out by him. Yorikiri was the win there for Atami Fuji. Fight, or should I say fights of the night between Ura and Hiradumi. Two Energizer bunnies. For any Aussies listening, you will understand. Maybe not for only those in Australia. I think America might get it as well. Just means two very energetic fast movers. It's an old advertising campaign about batteries. Anyway, back to the story. Fight 1, Ura versus Hiradumi. A thrusting battle, which ended when Ura grabbed one of Hiradumi's arms and yanked hard. This resulted in both of them cannoning over the bales. The Gunbai went to Hiradumi, I think, first, but the Mono-E was called by the Shimpan judges. They couldn't separate their landing. Looked pretty close on the replay. Tori Naoshi, a rematch was the call by the judges. Fight 2. Notice I am numbering them. Ura, he went in hard and low at the tachiai looking for Hiradumi's belt. Hiradumi moved laterally, moved to the side to avoid and retreated hard to the bales as Ura chased him. Hirodumi kept dancing, going backwards in the chase as Ura somehow ended up horizontal and aerial in a twisting airborne move that somehow only Ura is capable of. It's a fantastic photo. Uh, Ura is literally at right angles to Hirodumi. Hirodumi still had a foot on the bails, but also he had just about left the ring. The Gunbai, funnily enough, went to Hirodumi, but after another mono-e, the Shimpans indicated that both men were Shinatai or dead body, and that they couldn't separate their landing. It was an interesting call, and another Tori Naoshi rematch was the call for a third go. Now remember, in Shinatai, dead body, it's an unrecoverable position. So normally Ura has been victim of this a bit, where he goes backwards and leaves the ring airborne, and they call him Shinatai because he's actually left the ring entirely. Usually they'll look at things like if you're out of the ring, if you're airborne out of the ring, who was the aggressor in the move and who was on the defensive, and were they fully outside the dohyo, and who landed first. Now, there's some of the considerations the judges take into account when they're determining who was Shinatai or who won or lost the match. But unfortunately, without a better and full description other than the judges saying they were both Shinatai and they judged it by the landing, we're not going to get an essay after last night's action, so we may never actually understand the full nature of that decision. Anyway, so on to fight 3, another Tori Naoshi rematch. Hirodumi, he went hard this time, thrusted Ura back to the bails, and after a few exchanges, a few thrusts, Ura then grabbed Hirodumi's arm, yanked him again, pulled him off balance. Hirodumi, he just never recovered his balance position, and Ura took advantage for chasing thrusts, drove Hirodumi out, and a decisive win this time. Oshitayoshi frontal pushdown for Ura, taking the win. What a sequence! I think the last time we had 3 matches in one go was in about 2012, long before I started watching sumo. Anyway, on to the next one. Wakataka Kage, he easily dealt with Takara Fuji once he had the belt. Yorakiri. Abi versus Onakatsu. Abi telegraphed his intent by driving Onakatsu out of the ring on a mata, or a false start. So second go, Onakatsu drove as Abi pulled. Onakatsu kept driving, Abi went backwards and out. Abi probably should have stuck with his original intent because he lost that match. Goneyama, who's doing well this tournament, made sure that Takeru Fuji was out of the yusho race with a push, then a pull, then finished with a big push. Okay, so Goneyama drove Takeru Fuji back as he tried to grab Goneyama's neck. Takeru Fuji then drove Goneyama back in a bit of a re-attack, but as he kept up, he was looking for the back of Goneyama's neck. Goneyama just stepped on the pedal and drove Takeru Fuji back and out. Not much of a plan B going on there for Takeru Fuji either. The new Wonder Kids are finding out that the big boys do watch the videos. They do look for weaknesses in their opponents, and they always have a second and third plan ready. It's something that Takeru Fuji and Onosato don't seem to have gotten that message just yet. Anyway, on to day 12's action tonight. Kotozakura had a very dangerous match on day 12 against Daisho. Now remember, he's lost the last 3 to Daisho by Oshidashi. To the threshing machine. He wasn't going to be done tonight as he drove in fast and hard off the tachi. He really wanted to get inside on Daisho. He worked hard to keep Daisho moving and unbalanced throughout, get up right in his face, and Daisho, he just couldn't get the thrusting going with any regularity. It was a pretty good tactic, and it finally paid off as Kotozakura, he Oshidashi'd him out. So a good win there that put Kotozakura on 11-1. But Hoshoryu, he was up against Shodai. Shodai didn't have much of a chance, and Hoshoryu, he exchanged a couple of thrusts before he got a hand on the back of Shodai's belt and helped him from the ring in a hurry. 11 wins for both of them. Kirishima, he made Takanosho's yusho disappear down a longer tunnel after a bit of a scrappy win. Now, remember, Takanosho was in joint lead with the two Ozekis. It's a pretty strong touchy eye, and Takanosho just went slightly diagonal in movement again. They exchanged a fierce battle of thrust and slaps until Kitashima got a bit of a side body hit on Takanosho. That side hit allowed Kitashima to get in around the rear of Takanosho, take the belt, and steer him hard to the bales. Then he followed for a final push out as Takanosho wasn't quite out. At least Kitashima, he had the presence of mind to chase and finish it, where he assumed similar to previous, where he had done the push but didn't quite finish it off and he'd paid the price. Well, he did it tonight and finished him off. So that recovers Kirishima back to 6-6. He's still in with a chance of Kachikoshi. 8 wins, but he might even get 9 wins if he wins these last 3 matches, and that might just keep his Ozeki run just slightly alive. Anyway, Wakamoto Haru, he beat Tobizaru, got a headlock on Wakamoto Haru at one point as they grappled around. But in the end, a patient Komusubi Wakamoto Haru kept his body grip until he got an opportunity, and Oshidashi Tobizaru up the side alley about 10 rows. We had to wait for him to return. That got 1 win away from Kachikoshi for Wakamoto Haru, 2 wins away for the Flying Monkey. Atami Fuji, he piled more pain onto Hiradumi. I feel so sorry for Hiradumi at the moment. Atami Fuji, he locked up Hiradumi's right arm, pretty much controlled it the whole match. Hiradumi tried hard, but Atami Fuji went back to the bales and Sukiya Toshi'd him over. So that's a diagonal throwdown in the end. It looked like a Kotanage, but they gave it a Sukiya Toshi. Anyway, 1 win and 11 losses for Hiradumi, 6-6 even for Atami Fuji, still chasing his Kachikoshi. Ura, he notched up a much less spectacular win over Oshoma, got in close, and Oshoma had his weight and hand on the back of Ura's neck. Ura moved, Oshoma went down frontways. Abi did Abi things and did not give Wakataka Kage any sort of chance in their fight. He fired the Nodawas, the neck thrusts. Wakataka Kage went backwards fast. Abi took that win 9-3. Takayasu, he gave Kodoshoho a beating of Sapari thrusts, Nodawas, and slaps. And Kodoshoho absorbed it all. Then they went into a belt lock, a belt hold. There it is again. Kodoshoho tried an unsuccessful throw on him, but then he lost the grip and paid the price. Takayasu got a Yorikiri frontal force out, and that was his Kachikoshi 8-4. Kodoshoho, he is Makekoshi 3-9 already. Great belt battle between Onakatsu and Roga tonight. They both ended up on the belt and just tried for a few minutes with throw attempts, drives, grip changes, lots of battle for dominance in offense and defense, locking up arms. Onakatsu got a bit tired, I think, towards the end, and at one point he lost his left hand on the belt grip, which allowed Roga a better hold on the body, and he forced Onakatsu back and out. Yorikiri win for Roga, who is on wood with 5-7. Onakatsu, Kachikoshi already 8-4, so a good tournament for the new Mongolian wrestler who is only 2 Bashos in the top division, 7 overall at 24 years of age. Much more to come from him. So the leaderboard, Ozeki's Hoshoryu and Kodazakura 11-1. M6, Magashira 6, Takanosho 10-2, Magashira 3, Abi, and Magashira 8, Gonayama on 9-3. 8-4 has Ozeki Onosato. Magashira 2, Wakataka Kage. Magashira 9, Takayasu the Bear. Magashira 13, improved Shonanumi. Magashira's 14, Chiyoshoma, and Magashira 16, Takeda Fuji, all on 8-4. 7 wins looking for Kachikoshi, our Komusubi Wakamoto Haru. Magashira 10, Ichi Yamamoto and Takara Fuji. Magashira 11, Tamawashi and Meisei. 6 wins needing a good finish, our Sekiwake Kirishima and Daisho. Magashira 3, Atami Fuji. Magashira 5, Tobizaru. And Magashira 7, Endo and Mitakayumi on wood at 5-7. Roga, Midori Fuji Hokuto Fuji. And on the Juryo barge, if they can't get Kashikoshi, I would say that Toki Hayate Bushozan, who returned tonight after his absence, and Asakoryu all on wood at 7 losses. Already Makekoshi, Komusubi Shodai, Magashira 1, Oho and Hiratumi, Ura, Churunumi, Oshoma, Kotoshoho, Nishikigi, Sadanumi, Ryuden, and in deep trouble, Magashira 14, Nishiki Fuji, and Magashira 16, Shishi. Both of those will be probably looking for a ticket to Juryo. I doubt they'll save Nishiki Fuji again. Anyway, that's it for day 12. Only 3 days left of this tournament. It is likely a fight out between our two Ozekis, Korizakura and Hoshoryu. That will be an interesting fight if it goes down to those two. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the tournament. Join me again, Hakio listeners. Let's learn sumo.